as already mentioned, my name is Sergej, and I'm responsible for setting a strategy and executing it at Amasty. So today, at first, I would like to start with trying to understand who knows about Amasty, who uses our products. So I will skip this part then. Just would like to say that we are developing products not just for Adobe Commerce and Magento itself, but for other platforms as well. That is why I decided to make it a little bit wider for today and try to elaborate with you what is the competitive advantage of Magento open source as a platform at the current market stage. So basically, before we can start and talk about Magento open source as a platform, while Adobe acknowledges that it's a code base, but I would say it's a basic platform. Yeah, I would like to understand and ask you, how do you believe, what is the niche of Magento open source? Who is the perfect customer of Magento open source?
Someone with no money?
Sorry?
Someone who don't want to spend too much money on Adobe?
Yeah, so the basic thing that someone that enjoys open source as an environment, saying, okay, why should I pay much money for the licensing? But what about the size of the business, of the merchant itself? Like, if I'm just starting a business, can I use Magento open source?
You can, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, I believe this is main question that usually brings us to the disappointment about Magento itself. Because when you're starting to build your business, you're at the early stage of startup and saying, let's save the money on the licensing and trying to build startup based on Magento, probably it's not the best decision. So I decided, like, this is what we are usually doing. We're trying to understand who is our customer and what products we should deliver to them. The market of startups starts with such platforms as Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy, Shopify probably, Equit, something like that. Then, like, when client grows, more functionality is required. Then, like, comes different platforms into this equation, like BigCommerce, Shopify, WooCommerce. With the market growth, with like size of the company growth, Magento comes into play. Then, like, when we're talking about super huge brands that require not just powerful platform, but let's say someone who is behind of it, someone, let's say, who should be sued in case of issues, right? Then Adobe Commerce comes. They can provide something, what we call as a trust, due to its brand. But like, not every customer requires such kind of, let's say, signature under every procurement document. So that's why we believe that the proper segment of the market for Magento open source, it's MBEE. So it starts from the medium business, it goes to larger businesses and to the price level. Normally, it's basically what Matthias already mentioned today. It's where Adobe wants community to promote Magento. So it's a perfect place, and here it's very convenient now at the moment with recent news from Adobe. How it goes? At first, medium market starts with Magento open source as a platform code base for Adobe Commerce. It could be expanded in future if company grow and need more trust on the platform on the future, and let's say make it more secure from, let's say, development perspective, I don't know, from the future perspective, say, signing $1 million contracts, for example. And here, Adobe is also delivering SAS solution. It's not so flexible, right? But it definitely can play against Shopify and BigCommerce. Like, if you prefer, like, to save on the maintenance cost. But let's elaborate on it a little bit further. So basically, we need to understand how customer understands its requirement when they select the platform. At the moment, when I'm talking to agencies all over Europe, all of them are saying that customers do not care what platform you would pick for them. They have specific business needs. They would like to, let's say, target with help of specific platform. You should provide solution. You should deliver solution as an agency. And they will elaborate and understand a little bit later what is about the cost of ownership, licensing, maintenance, and so on. So basically, they need to understand how they can be flexible with it. Can they accelerate and grow, scale based on this platform or not? What about performance? We have a lot of experts on performance. We had very nice warm-up today by Jakub, by Thies. They can explain way better than me about performance. But definitely, it's part of the equation to understand how platform copes with the performance. What is the cost of ownership? Yeah, as you mentioned, like how much I'm going to pay just for the ability to use this code, and how much I'm going to pay to maintain it. And compliance. At least 3 major things that happened with us or will happen with us during 6 months time frame. New law about brand origin in the European Union, where every brand on your website should be, let's say, marked by its origin. Cosmic WASP as a vulnerability issue. Accessibility law that takes in effect this year. And CSP that also impacts a lot of stuff. I'm not talking even about new releases of Magento as a platform or deprecations of APIs by other platforms. And like to be super client-oriented, I decided to make it as advanced client would do. I would say, okay, this is my criteria. Let ask Perplexity as AI tool to suggest me what is the best platform. What I would see there if I add this information as a background there inside, and understand like what is a suggestion by Perplexity will be done for me and my business. So in terms of functionality and flexibility, take into account that Magento open source is just a platform. They should get somehow its features, right? Take into account that I'm from Amasty, like absolutely natural that I add Amasty functionality into Magento open source, but there are a lot of other vendors that you can use. You can even combine them if you don't believe or afraid about different, let's say, compatibility issues. Adobe eCommerce itself also have like sophisticated functionality, at least high-level view. For example, gift card you can find by Amasty or by Adobe Commerce. It depends on the nature of your request to understand if you will be satisfied with default functionality by Adobe Commerce or you need something else. The same is like BigCommerce and Shopify Plus. If you see inside, there is a difference. But let's say functionality-wise, title-wise, it can be very, very similar. For example, the most popular thing that comes in my mind when I think about Shopify and restrictions, it's about product options you have there or sales rules you can add there by default. Do you know how many sales rules, promotion rules you can add to Magento?
Open source? Open source?
Yeah.
1,000.
1,000, maybe 100,000. It depends, like on let's say your servers, right?
To break your server at 1,000.
I have customer just right now who has like 2,000.
2,000 of.
We have to optimize it, but it's not.
It's not a problem. While with Shopify, you have a restriction to add just 25 rules, and then you need somehow to manage them to understand, like, what level you have them. So basically, both of them have rules, but it depends what you are looking for. So definitely, feature-wise, you can stuff it as you like, but like there are some details. The same is like company account. It depends on the hierarchy of company account you're looking for. All of them state that they have it, but in fact, they're a little bit different. High performance. Every platform states that they have the best performance ever. What is the difference is that if you're going to use Magento open source, definitely you need to think about hosting. There is no hosting behind it. The same is about like storefront, for example. What is your theme? Are you going to use Luma, PWA, Breeze, Huva? I would say that with Huva era, it became easier to promote Magento open source as the high performance solution. It's easier to state, okay guys, high performance to the storefront is delivered by Huva. For sure, like people who know will say that, okay, front end is a part of the story, but it's a back end, and if it's not optimized, regardless what you have on the front end, your performance will suck. So definitely you need to make sure that like both parts of this equation are taken into consideration. But normally, if you're delivering SaaS solution, it's easier to maintain, let's say, higher performance for smaller solutions. But with the scale, it could be like more problematic. Compliance. I've taken accessibility to understand what platforms think about compliance. Normally, every platform says that they're compliant somehow, providing a tool that can help you to assess. Basically, as experts on compliance and accessibility say, every release you do, you should do with a compliance in your head and test it on accessibility. But definitely what we would like to say here that Huva does its best to make theme accessible by default. What Amasty does from our side, we're also managing accessibility for all our products, like front-end facing products, both for Luma and Huva, but like anyway, you need to assess it. Cost of ownership. Normally, there are three parts of this equation. What you are paying for: hosting, maintenance, cost of development. Anyway, you will need to add something extra. And what people state that development costs to Magento open source and Adobe Commerce are at least twice higher than like for Shopify or BigCommerce. Because it's custom code, open source custom code. It's definitely, I would say, even for our products, we have 3 times more people supporting our products for Adobe Commerce and Magento than for any other platform. So definitely it's a part of the story. However, if we take all possible functionality for your website, let's say on the full price from Amasty, with Magento open source, it will cost you at least 2 times less than any license for any other platform. So probably it's worth it, at least if you are going to scale your business and you are not the small company. Long-term value, take into account that if your business is growing and you are doing B2B business, it definitely makes sense to consider open source as a platform because margin is probably not so high, while volume is pretty large, right? And you're going to pay extra dollar from every extra order you have. So what is the result? Perplexity says that every platform is a great one, except one thing, that there is a technical complexity of Magento open source. So if you would like to use open source product, you should be an expert, or at least have someone who can help you with technical expertise. And I believe the most important question here right now for Magento as a community, what we are going to do with this technical complexity and how we are going to promote it to the market. Our take is pretty easy. We should not be, let's say, separate and compete with each other. We should join our forces and make sure that client's perception of Magento, it's not you something bought from Amasty, you've got hosting from I don't know whoever, you've got Huva theme or any other theme and Magento. There is an agency that provides solution to the customer. Behind the hood, it could be whatever agency decides. But like their exclusive expertise provides great result to the customer and the best solution in the market. Just to be more specific, I would like to show several case studies we made with our partner from France, Synovia. There are just several examples how it could look like. So basically, at least one solution of two is powered by Adobe Commerce, but like it's also powered by Huva and Amasty extensions. We improved navigation here. We added SEO toolkit, some extensions for compliance, and some extensions for, let's say, customer experience. And customer resulted seeing better results in terms of SEO optimization, like figures are growing, site is indexing faster, customers' account creation grew almost 2 times. So pretty nice results for the flexible solution that is going to be expanded to new locations. And you are hosting not just one website, but 6, in fact. The same is, another case is FirmUp. It's also another joint client of ours in Synovia that made great website with performance. We also added a lot of functionality there. We've had a talk today with Matthias saying that like probably blog is not the best solution for Magento. However, Amasty uses its own extension to power the blog. FirmUp also uses our extension to power the blog, and it works. Like it makes some challenges to set it up, but taking account there is a Huva, the theme, it became way faster and better at the moment. So what we would like to say, that formula of competitive advantage is not competition, it's cooperation where we can deliver it as a holistic solution to our clients, make sure that Magento is unbeaten competitor of this market. Like it's flexible, it has huge community behind it. So we just need to promote it and share our experience here. That's it. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
We have time, we have 10 minutes.
We have time. Yeah, I was super quick.
One question about the, you know, the app builder.
Uh-huh.
You think we provide extension of app builder from there?
Yeah, basically, when we understood that there is a need on app builder, take into account how much money it costs to deliver the app builder itself, we decided that the best thing we can do is to partner with another extension provider that builds pretty nice app builder. So we just made our extensions compatible with this app builder and even made it available from our website. So our intention was to resolve conflicts rather than creating new solution like that probably will be not the best one, taking account how much effort you need to build inside. So we just made sure that there is a mutual interest to integrate with existing solution and provide the quality to our customers. So I believe that time it was Magento, and it was we made sure that it's compatible and we distributed it with our extensions.
What about hosting? Which solution do you suggest?
My policy is not to suggest specific hosting solutions because it depends very much on where you locate, what is the best conditions you can get from the hosting providers. Take in account that there are so many different, let's say, competitors on every market, I would suggest as local as possible. So just to make sure that you can communicate them in a more effective way. And like, let's say, you can make competitive research understanding who provides the best pricing for you. Probably, like what we've done with several of them, we initiated several projects with different hosting providers to understand who is the best fit for our purposes. Probably sometimes the best one, it's not even hosting provider, but let's say hardware provider. We ended up using Hetzner.
So maybe I will, if we have 10 minutes, then I will
Yeah,
have the question.
why not?
So Sergej, the accessibility is a huge topic in
Yeah.
European Union this year. So you mentioned that you care about it as well. And how do you test your extensions for that perspective? And how do you, is it automatic test or you have any like real people who manage that?
The case is that it's almost impossible to test in a proper way accessibility automatically. So at first, we started this journey with Snowdog, who was advocate of accessibility way before it became popular and before it becomes necessary. So we agreed with them on a framework how we would like to deliver accessibility to our joint customers. We set up at first, let's say, small chunk of the projects and extensions to test it. And now we're just rolling up it to every new extension. We started with the most popular, let's say, B2C extensions. Our target to make sure that our B2B premium suite is like substitution of Adobe Commerce in terms of B2B functionality is also has full compatibility in terms of accessibility for Luma and Huva by this summer when it takes an effect. So definitely there are a set of tools, and we are targeting AA standard because like AAA it's almost impossible. So thank you so much. If you have any other topics, you can come.